Hello, and welcome to a video series that I'm going to be calling Lemmings United Level Solving Commentary. I'm KYN. I'm a member of a site called the Lemmings Forums. I registered for the site back in 2017, but for the next 2 to 3 years, I simply visit this site and read the posts in stealth until I decided to make myself known earlier to the community earlier this year. For those of you not in the know, Lemmings is a game where you guide these critters called lemmings from the entrance to the exit by assigning them skills. You have to rescue a certain number of them in order to get to the next level and proceed with the rest of the game. In the original Lemmings, there are only 8 skills. In this video series, I'm going to be covering a level pack called Lemmings United on an engine called Lemmings. Lemmings is an engine that allows you to play the original games and custom level packs. And it basically features, or rather, it has features that the original game didn't have, such as frame stepping, and time skips, and skill shadows. These tools were meant to reduce the execution difficulty while just focusing on the puzzle difficulty. The community decided that Lemmings should go in that direction, and so the aim is to make execution difficulty as easy as possible while just retaining the puzzle difficulty. Lemmings United is a level pack that I started playing last September and just recently finished and resolved all levels to Icho's liking. Icho is the level pack author of the pack, and I recently got his prize in the mail a couple of days ago, so don't need to worry about that anymore. Before I started playing packs on Lemmings, I played packs on Lemoni and Super Lemoni before that. I play packs like Dove Lambs, Pimo Lambs, and Lemmings Reunion. Lemmings Reunion is another level pack by Icho, and it's essentially his first pack. So essentially, Lemmings United is his sequel pack, and is considerably harder than Lemmings Reunion. Let's see if there's anything else. So basically, in this video series, I'm just going to be talking about my level solving process, what I went through while solving the levels, and giving my thoughts on the levels. It's essentially the counterpart to Icho's Lemmings United Creators Commentary, but instead of being from a level designer perspective, it's going to be from the perspective of a player solving the levels. Throughout the series, I'm just going to be showing off my solutions to the levels that I found. So I'm not going to be playing the levels, as I've been playing nothing but Lemmings United for the last several months. Started in September last year, just finished it around last month. So it essentially took me an entire year. And so because of the huge amount of time it took me to complete the pack, yeah, I'm definitely not going to be playing the pack again, at least not for a while. So instead, I'm just going to be showing off the solutions to the levels. I think I essentially covered everything, and so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the pack itself. Oh, another thing I should note is that Lemmings United was essentially the first pack that I played for Lemmings. Essentially, without the former training into the new features and the new skills of Lemmings, I just decided to dive right into the hardest pack there is with Lemmings, just because I thought I would be able to handle it, seeing how I was able to beat difficult packs like Pimo Lems and Lemmings Reunion on my own without getting any help. And I'm also a player in which I rather figure out solutions on my own without asking for help. Although for this pack, I did have to ask each for help from time to time. And I also prefer to solve levels on my own before watching replay solutions, just because I prefer the satisfaction of figuring out difficult levels on your own. And in Lemmings United, there were plenty of levels that felt very satisfying to figure out. Yeah, so with that, now we can go ahead and get into the pack itself. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have Pacifism 1, Biolab boot up. We have 2 lemmings, and we need to save 1 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and load my replay here. Nope, that's not it. There it is. Okay, so this level is just a quick introduction to the original skills of the game, with the exception of this skill right here, which is the platformer. This was not part of the original game, and it is found in Neo Lemmings. So the first thing we do is block the first lemming that goes to the left so that it turns the other lemming around. So the new skill, the platformer, it's just like the builder, but instead of building a builder staircase upwards diagonally, it builds a staircase perfectly horizontally. In order to get through these 2 pillars, we need to make him a climber and floater. The reason for the floater is for this second pillar, because without the floater, it's going to just fall and splat, and we don't want that. The floater allows lemmings to fall from any height safely while splatting. And the climber and the floater are both permanent skills. They stay with the lemming until the lemming either dies or is rescued. Next up, we have the basher Druidus here, which, as you can see, creates a horizontal tunnel. Then to get up here and cross this water gap, we use a builder. To get across this water gap, we use a platformer. And then once he climbs up the wall, in order to get through this, we're going to go ahead and use the digger. The digger is just like the basher, except it creates a tunnel vertically. And then finally, to get through this, we're going to go ahead and use the miner. It's just like the digger, except it creates a tunnel diagonally downwards. And that's it. We saved our 1 lemming, and so we're level solved. And then all that's left to do is to nuke the blocker that's remaining. It's pretty much customary to nuke any remaining blockers after you have saved the required amount of lemmings. So we are on to Pacifism 2, Innocent Flowers. We had 3 lemmings, and we need to save 1 once again. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and load my replay here. So to get through this starting area, you make the first lemming a bomber. Kills the lemming in the process. This level introduces you to pickup skills, which are these skills that you see in the circles here. This first pickup skill is a stoner. It's just like the bomber, except it creates a stoner terrain, which turns other lemmings around. This next pickup skill is a stacker. It creates a vertical wall of 8 bricks, causing lemmings to turn around once the stack is high enough instead of slipping past. This next pickup skill is a swimmer, which, as it suggests, allows lemmings to swim across water without drowning. This next pickup skill is the walker, which, when assigned to a lemming that is walking, will reverse its direction. If assigned to a lemming that's performing a skill, it will simply interrupt and cancel the skill early. This next pickup skill is the disarmer. In some lemmings, there are traps, like these evil flowers, which will kill any lemming that walks into its trigger area. And so, in order to prevent that from happening, you can use a disarmer. Once the disarmer does its work, it will cause the traps to be harmless and allow lemmings to simply walk past without getting killed. This next pickup skill is a glider, which is very similar to the floater, except instead of going down vertically, it goes down diagonally. And then this last pickup skill that the lemming is walking towards to is a cloner. And the cloner creates a copy of the original lemming, and the clone also inherits the skills of the original lemming. The original lemming was a glider and a swimmer, so the clone lemming is also a swimmer and a glider, allowing them to get over the gap and also across the water and into the exit. So next up we have Pacifism 3, End of an empire. So here, it's an open-ended level where you just get to the exit in any way you can. But even though it's pretty open-ended, you still have to be somewhat efficient in your skill uses, just because you'll soon see that there are some skills that will run out pretty quickly if you're being wasteful with them. In particular, the platformers and the builders are what you want to be careful with, because those two skills then run out pretty fast in this level in any solution. So first here I build up, and then I use a blocker to hold back the crowd while sending one lemming up ahead to forge the path to the exit for the rest. Platform across twice, and then use a builder to get up, and then of course use a basher here. Bash through this. Platform across. Here I could have used a walker to turn him around early, but I think here I just let him bounce off the blocker to turn around. Yeah, that's what I did. But yeah, you technically could have used, or rather, I technically could have used a walker to turn around early. And we can certainly do that. We have plenty of walkers for that. And then I build up some more in order to get up here. Build up 4 times and then bash through. Build up again. Platform across. Platform again and then bash. And then build across the fire pits. You don't want them falling into them or else they will die. And then I platform across. And then that's it. And then here, what do I do? Oh, I use a miner and then a builder to cancel him. I use the miner to release the blocker. So in this game, you can release the blocker by removing the terrain under its feet. That was a technique that wasn't required until pretty late in the original Lemmings. And so if you were aware of that technique, you could use it here like I did. But the easiest solution in order to release the blocker would be to assign a walker to the blocker. So with that, it makes the walker a very powerful skill, allowing you to release the blocker very easily without using anything else. But in any case, yeah, this is a very open-ended level where you just get to the exit in any way you can. So as you can see, we have plenty of skills left over. Alrighty, next level, Pacifism 4, Water Maze 2. Okay, so here you are given the destructive skills with one new one called a Fencer, which is this right here. Oh, and I have no idea why I used a Fencer. That was a complete waste. So the Fencer is essentially the counterpart to the Miner. But instead of creating a tunnel diagonally downwards, the Fencer creates a tunnel diagonally upwards. So like you see here, this Lemming is fencing upwards. So you first mine down and then you fence up. So essentially, looking at this level, it's pretty huge and there's plenty of terrain to get through. Again, you have plenty of destructive skills, so let's just get through the level in any way you can. And you have plenty of skills, so you don't have to worry about running out. Pass through here and then mine down and then fence up. Miner is essential so that you don't walk into the water pit. And then the fencer to get up here. And then after bashing, dig down. Here you have to make sure that you make some steps so that the lemmings don't fall and splat. So in this game, lemmings will splat if they fall a certain distance. And so in order to prevent that, after digging, you want to make some steps so that they don't have too far to fall. In this case though, this is definitely splat height, but the lemmings were already inside the pit when it happened. And so that's what allowed all the lemmings to survive. And then after mining, I've fenced up, and then mine down, bash through, fence up, bash through, and then fence up, bash, and then mine. Yeah, just barely missed the water pit there. And then fence up some more in order to get up here. here we can't get to the exit through here because we have absolutely no way to get across this gap, considering the skills that we are given. So instead, we have to go over and up here. And then after bashing through, we dig down, mine down, and then finally bash across in order to get to the exit. So as you can see, we have plenty of skills left over. And I managed to use 7 of each except for the digger. So that leaves me with 8 of each, except the digger, which I had 12 of each. Or 12. Okay, next level. Pacifism 5. Fencing high into the sky. Okay, so we start down here, but the exit is way up here. So it looks pretty intimidating, but don't be intimidated. We have the skills to allow us to get up there. In particular, the fencer and the builder will allow us to get up there. So we first start off with fencing. And then here I decided to assign all lemmings to floater except for one right away. Because in this case right here, some lemmings may fall down here, and if they do, they will splat. So to prevent that from happening, assign them a floater. So platform across twice. There are some lemmings down here, but I can release them later with a fencer and then a builder to bridge this gap. Build up and then fence again. Okay, so I already used a fencer there. And then I believe I will use a builder at the very end once the path is made. So here, an easy way to tell which lemmings are floaters and which ones aren't is by the color shift. So here, the lemmings that have a green outfit, those are the ones that have floaters. While the ones that don't wear green, those don't have floaters, like this one right here. So as you can see, everyone's a floater, except for this lemming right here. So platform across twice, and then build up again. Fence up, so that we can get into the exit area, or near the exit area. And then platform across twice. So now here I assigned the remaining lemming floater, since he fell down before I was able to seal off the gap with the platformers. Then build up again. Build up again. Fence through the chimney. Fence through that chimney, and then that's it. So now all that's left to do is use a builder to bridge this gap. And then the rest are home scot-free. So yes, it's a pretty tall level that looks pretty intimidating, but it's really not that difficult. And in the end, I managed to have a builder left over. Definitely not a problem here. Okay, and so we are on to Pacifism 6, Island of Dreams. So after the previous 5 levels, which pretty much gave you a quick introduction to the skills, and both the classic and the new skills, now we are on to Pacifism 6, which is a small and short and easy puzzle. So here I use a blocker to hold back the crowd, while leaving one lemming to go ahead to forge the path. Bash through here, and bash here. And then use a fencer to get up. Assigning the fencer right here should allow you to get through this palm tree as well with one fencer, as you can see. Then we use 2 builders to bridge this gap to get across. And finally, what I do in my solution, I bash underneath all the trees, and then I cancel the basher earlier or the walker. So all that's left is to release this the blocker with a basher, which I did right there. So alternatively, you could definitely bash through these palm trees if you wanted. You have more than enough bashers to do so, and then that will leave you with a walker, which allows you to release the blocker with it. That's the easiest solution to use. But here I decided to be efficient with my basher usage, and decided to bash underneath all the obstacles. But in any case, multiple solutions. Mine is not the only solution. And then Pacifism 7, routine keeps me alive. This was a level that Icho showed off when he was making his video on how to create levels in Lemmings. So from the looks of this, you can see that this is a pretty big level. Again, pretty much open-ended, just like Pacifism 3. Get through the level any way you can. So here I sent one lemming ahead by making him a climber, and then fence up, mine down, and then dig down. This shouldn't be splat height. Yeah, it's not splat height. You can see that with how the red line at the bottom is buried into the steel. So that's a safe drop. And then after digging down, fence up, and then mine down. And then as you have noticed, when the miner hit the steel, he turns around. So in Lemmings, anytime a lemming hits steel with, say, a basher or a miner, it will cause the lemming to turn around. This doesn't happen in every engine, but in Lemmings it does. So that can be a useful property to keep in mind for some levels. And then here we platform across. Not builders, because otherwise he would just constantly hit his head and it will cause you to waste too many builders. And then platform across again. Platform across once more. Platform across again. Bash through. No idea why I mined there. Platform across and then fence. Bash. Platform across. Bash. And then dig down. Here is where you want to create some steps, because otherwise if you dig too far, you're going to make a splat height for the crowd. So you want to prevent that by making steps. So dig, mine, fence. This is an airlock trap that will kill lemmings if they walk over the trigger area. So to prevent that, we just simply build over it. So here I build up 4 times. And then I platform across in order to get to this platform. And I build. Bash just cancel him early. And then build up twice to get up to this platform. Build. And then platform across. And that should be enough to get to this platform. Yeah, as you can see. Platform across to get here. And then fence up. Bash across. And then dig down. Bash across. This is the walker trap, which will kill lemmings if you walk into the trigger area. So again, we build over it so that doesn't happen. And then finally, to release the crowd, I use the remaining builder. So as you can see, I ended up using all builders and platformers in my solution. In other solutions, it should be possible to save one or a few of them. But in any case, my solution is not the only one to this level. There are multiple solutions. And again, it's just get through the level in any way you can. Okay, Pacifism 8, 10,000 BC. So we start up here, and the exit is right underneath. So the challenge then is to get down there safely. So I use a blocker to hold back the crowd while sending one ahead. Assign him a glider. So he falls and lands safely down here. Give him a walker so he turns around. And now we start building up. So build up twice. And then after he turns around, build up again. Use the remaining builder to build up again. And then all that's left to do is to platform across twice. And then finally release the blocker with a walker. And that's it. There's a small step in which the lemmings will land on here, which allows them to fall into this builder bridge safely while splatting. So yeah, short and very easy puzzle. Alrighty, Pacifism 9. 2 lambs worth of reckoning. And as the title suggests, we have 2 lemmings, and we need to save both of them. Alrighty, in this level, we are only given 2 skills, platformers and builders. So the first lemming that walks to the right will build, while the lemming that walks to the left will platform, so that he turns around. So in this level, it's just a matter of making the right choice between these 2 skills. Here we want to use a platformer, because otherwise if we use a builder, it will build right into the fire spinning trap, which we don't want, as it will kill the lemmings, or in this case, fry them. Alright, so now I have lemmings both here. So the first one that turns around will build up, and the other lemming will slip by and take a short detour. Okay, and then the first lemming that gets to here will build up. He will hit his head and turn around, allowing the other lemming to slip by and forge more of the path ahead. Platform across. Platform again, so that he turns around. The other lemming will take a detour into this area. This lemming will platform across. And this is one where a builder would not suffice, because you would need more than one builder to get across. And since we're already running low on our skills, you want to use a platformer here. So the platformer will be the correct choice right here. The other lemming took a detour will build up, get across the gap and get up here. And then finally, all that's left to do is to use the remaining builder to build up across the pit and get into the exit. So in some cases, it doesn't really matter whether you use a platformer or a builder, but in other situations, it will matter. Yeah, one will be better than the other. And this level essentially does a pretty good job in teaching you which one to use, in my opinion. And this will certainly come in handy later on for later levels, because while you certainly could use either one, sometimes using one choice will often lead into a situation where you won't be able to solve the level later on. And so it's definitely critical that you make the right choice. And for the last level for this video is Pacifism 10, Source of Self-Destruction. So essentially for the videos in this series, I'm pretty much just going to cover 10 levels at a time, with the exception of the 4th video, which will cover 11 levels, Pacifism 31 all the way to Pacifism 41. But for the first video, yeah, this will be the last level for this video. So here we have 21 lemmings, but we only need to save one of them. Sounds pretty easy, right? Well, let's get into the level and find out. Okay, so here, just like the previous level, you only have 2 skills, bombers and stoners. So here it is necessary to stone the first lemming in order to create a stepping stone so the lemmings can land down here. Without it, lemmings are just going to fall down into the water and drown. And then these 2 small gaps can be bridged with a stoner each, so that allows us to get up here. And then to get down here, I'm going to use a bomber to get through. Then to access this platform here, I'm going to go ahead and use another bomber. And then this situation right here is the exact same situation as right here. Without stoner, lemmings are just going to fall down and splat down here. So we use a stoner for that, so they can get here, go over here, use a bomber to get through. And then for the stick skull, we need several bombers here. Okay, that ended up using 5 bombers. So now we are through to this platform here. A small gap that can be bridged with a stoner. And then for right here, we're going to use a stoner to turn the crowd around. As without it, the crowd would just simply walk into the water here and drown. And then another small gap that can be bridged with a stoner. And then to get across this gap, we need 2 stoners. Okay, and then another small gap that can be bridged with just a single stoner. So now we have 3 lemmings remaining, but only 2 bombers remaining. Here, you could probably guess where the bombers go. The bomber needs to be used here, and then the final bomber is here. So that allows the remaining lemming, the lucky one, to get into the exit. Alrighty, and that is level solved. And that brings us to Pacifism 11, which I will cover in the next video. I hope you enjoyed the first video of my Lemmings United level solving commentary, and I will see you all next time.